Hey guys, it's Rich Boy J here back again with another video, and this is going to be part 3 of the Crait MOC building series. Now before I get into that content, I just want to say that the channel has gone through a substantial amount of growth recently. I wanted to do a giveaway for the 4,000 subscribers that I hit, but I hit 5,000 pretty soon after that. So I'm going to have to do something special for hitting the milestone of having 5,000 subscribers. And also, because of that, that means that there's going to be a lot of new people here to the channel. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you go ahead and check out the 2 previous updates to this one for the Crait MOC building series. The first one specifically because a lot of you guys have questions about what's going to go into this MOC. That video does a pretty good job, I think, at showing you guys like where our thoughts are and what all we would like to include in this MOC, because it's going to end up being pretty ridiculous. What you see right now is only a very small fraction of what the MOC is going to look like whenever we finish up. So if you want to see what's going to be in the finished product, go check out that video. Of course, some things will change along the way, but I think that does a pretty good job at just showing you guys kind of where we want to go with it. So for this video, we did a little live stream yesterday. I know the schedule for this week was a little bit off. Typically, I'd like to get these update videos out on Sundays. That just wasn't possible because of the delay of the parts that we were getting in. So that's why this video is out today. But that meant that we could do a pretty lengthy live stream yesterday on Sunday. It was a great turnout. If you guys aren't coming to these live streams, make sure you come check them out. It's a really good experience for all of us. Like, for one, we get to engage with you guys and talk Star Wars, and you get to see how we're building and this MOC really come along right in front of your eyes. So I think that's pretty cool. So for this video, guys, I did a lot of work on the ATM6 and LDD. I know that's not exciting as seeing it in real bricks, but it's coming along really well, so I'm going to show you guys that, as well as the minifig scale Kylo Shuttle that Garrett is working on. And then finally, I'm going to get into some of the build that we did on the live stream and the salt layering that we did for the big Crait MOC. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into this thing. Alright guys, so first we're going to take a look at the ATM6. I went ahead and threw in my AT-AT on the side just to give you guys a little perspective about just how big this ATM6 is going to be. If you guys don't know it already, my AT-AT is around 23 inches tall, which means that the ATM6 that I'm building is going to be around 35 inches tall, so a little bit over 3 feet, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think weight is probably my biggest concern with it, just making sure the legs are going to be strong enough to hold this entire thing up. Hopefully, with the way I've designed it, it will work out. I've taken a lot of liberties to ensure that it will. It's just going to be a matter of like figuring it out whenever I actually get it built in physical bricks, if this thing is going to work out the way that I think it will. So this is kind of what I've done so far. I feel like I'm just so close to getting this thing finished finally. I just have to do this back section in here, have to fill that in, and also have to do the head, obviously. And then like I have to do something like the exterior details. I omitted those initially because I wanted to just make sure that the overall design worked before I put too much time into something like that. I'm sure you guys know by now that when it comes to builds like these, the interior is usually the most important thing to me. So I'm going to try to continue that with this MOC. I'm going to have little sections that you can pull out sort of like this. So you just kind of slides into the wall and you can pull it out, and then you can see the inside. Right now it definitely is not finished. I just kind of threw some chairs in there just to kind of get an idea of what it'll look like. And I have a guy in there as well just to make sure that there's enough headroom for the minifigures. And then there's also going to be another room up top, which is essentially where they control the big Mega Caliber 6 gun. Now, one of the things that I had to omit from the MOC, and it was kind of hard for me to get to this point to make this decision, but I ultimately decided it was going to have to happen, is this ladder is actually supposed to go all the way down into a 3rd level down here, and then that level would actually give you access to like the cockpit through the hallway that is the neck. Unfortunately, because this big leg is right here, a lot of that would obstruct the view of the room that would have to be in this section. And also there's just a lot of like structural things in there as well. So it ultimately just wouldn't have worked out the way I wanted it to. And you would have been able to barely see into there. So I just decided that I was going to leave that room out altogether. Fortunately, we haven't really seen any of the interior of the ATM6 in the movie. So it's not like I'm going to be able to be like missing any scenes by not having that room in there. Ultimately, it's just that's the way that this design is going to best work out, because like I wanted to have that space down there for like structural integrity, and also this leg right here would be in the way. But hopefully you guys can forgive me for that. I think this thing is looking awesome so far. I'm really happy with the progress. I'm just really excited to build this thing in real bricks. I can't wait to see like even one of these legs come together, because one of these legs on its own is going to be taller than my AT-AT, which is absolutely ridiculous. So that's going to finish up this one. Let me take you guys and look at Garrett's Kylo Ren command shuttle. And of course, as promised guys, here's a quick look at Garrett's build for the Kylo Ren command shuttle. This thing is looking absolutely fierce. Can't wait to see its completion. I like the details that he put on the top. And then there's another good picture right here with the boarding ramp. I think that's probably going to be the coolest feature of this thing, being able to have it big enough for the boarding ramp to come down and have Kylo Ren making his way out of it. So can't wait to see more progress with him on that. And I'm hoping you guys are liking it because I think this thing is going to look so awesome in our mock. Alright guys, so you can see we have been hard at work trying to get some more of the salt layered and some more of these squares built, and we have a pretty substantial amount of the mock built at this point. We can almost cover a full table, which is absolutely ridiculous because a table space on its own is already a pretty big mock, and we have about 4 tables to cover, so this thing is going to be absolutely insane. So if I bring you guys closer to over here, you can see that we went ahead and finished up the salt that was empty here, as well as that corner from the sections with the footprints. We also started these 2 squares up here in front of them. Unfortunately, we ran out of 1x1 tile, and so you can see some of the spaces are uncovered, which is why it's yellow, and then the layering underneath that was actually white, so there's some studs that are exposed that will eventually be covered once we get more 1x1 tile in. But nonetheless, really happy with the way this thing is looking right now. I think the rocks just really accentuate the entire mock, just having the entire thing bordered with that texture. It looks absolutely beautiful. The thing about where we're starting to get now, though, is that we're pretty much finishing up the spots where we can do these generic salt patterns. Now we're going to have to start looking at, like, some explosions and line designs in the ground. So if you guys are getting bored with us just building squares, then you're in luck because this is pretty much going to be the end of that. We're going to start moving further over that way where we're going to have to put some of like the skimmers flying through the salt, as well as some like exploded TIE fighters and a destroyed skimmer as well. So this thing is going to be changing up quite a bit moving forward for the next few updates. One thing I also wanted to kind of highlight was just that these areas right here is where the walkers are going to go. So I'm going to have my AT-AT on this side. The AT-M6 is going to be on that side, which means that I'm actually going to have to pull up some of the plates and tiles that are here because the feet are going to be covering them, and it doesn't make sense to use these pieces under the feet where they won't be seen when I could just have them somewhere else where they will be seen. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of work to pull those up. I'm not sure if I want to make it to where like the ground is going to be sunken in a little bit where the feet will be. I think that like that would make a lot of sense on Hoth, just because it's a pretty thick layer of snow, whereas this one is just a thin layer of salt, and then there's just like dirt and soil right underneath that. So I'm not sure. I'm going to have to think about how I want to integrate that, but hopefully it works out. I'm definitely going to want to remove the tiles and studs for no other reason than to make sure that the walkers can remain leveled, because under the feet of the walkers, it's not just like flat like anti-studs, it's actually some like sideways bricks and stuff like that. So if I just set it on this as is without removing some of the plates, it would actually not be an even surface and it wouldn't be steady. The last thing we want is some walkers crashing down on our mock. That would be a problem. But I just want to show you guys a little bit more like the little designs that we're doing in the salt. I'm really happy the way that those are coming out. I think it just looks great. I went through a lot of different design changes when trying to converge on that choice, and I think that ultimately what we ended up with is pretty amazing. I think the effect looks really good, especially from a distance, because you can't really see the I guess the spaces between the studs. They make a more cohesive line, and I think it really illustrates and gets across what we wanted to do with this MOC. So I'm really happy that it came out so well, because we had invested a lot of money into like the plates and the tile for this kind of, I guess, design, and it would have been very unfortunate if in the end we ended up not even using it because it didn't look good. So we got really fortunate in that aspect. I really like this view right here, just kind of like pulled back view, because you can really see the troops just walking through the salt, and it really gives you a good idea of just how big this thing is, and a good idea just how big this thing is going to be. If you guys didn't know, this thing is going to cover up these 4 tables in this room. So you can see the Falcons over there in that corner. That's where the mountains are going to be. The Falcon's actually going to be on top of the mountains, so that's going to be pretty ridiculous. But also, the land portion is pretty much going to take up these 2 tables over here, and it's going to come all the way up until about here, which is where the mountains are going to start. So those are going to be pretty intense, because we're going to have a pretty big section where the cave is and a bunch of stuff going on in there. So this thing is getting pretty ridiculous so far. One of the more exciting things coming up for us is we're actually getting our order in for all the slopes that we need for like the mountains. Well, actually, I don't think it'll be all the slopes, but it'll be about half of the slopes that we'll need for the mountain. So that's going to be pretty exciting. We'll maybe start prototyping that and seeing how we want to design that. And then also, I'm probably going to end up bringing out the slopes that I need for the big door. I actually already own a pretty good amount of those dark tan slopes that we want to use for that, so that's going to work out really well for us, and not having to spend a lot more money for a ton of slopes to build that door. So that'll be pretty exciting as well. Moving forward, this week Garrett's going to come over, and we're going to really hammer down the layout of everything. We're going to get all of our builds, all of our ships that are going to be in this MOC, and we're going to lay them all out, make sure the spacing is right. That way, moving forward, we can be a little bit more organized and also know exactly where we're going with this MOC. So that's going to finish up this part of the segment, guys. Just wanted to give you a little quick update on what we've been doing so far, and now let's move to the end of the video. Alright guys, that's going to finish up the video today. I'm happy that we've gotten so much progress done on it. I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying it as much as we are, because this MOC honestly has a completely different feel to it. The Scarif was really fun to do whenever we did that, but we had much less time to work on that than this one. So this one is allowing us to take our time and then also engage with you guys during the build process. And I think that just makes things a lot more fun and less hectic along the way. So this thing is going to be getting pretty interesting moving forward. We've pretty much reached the point where we can't just keep doing like salt squares. We're going to have to start considering things like the lines that the skimmers will leave in the ground, as well as like explosions, and having like destroyed TIE fighters as well as destroyed skimmers and the ground. So these are going to be pretty interesting moving forward. So make sure you guys keep tuning in for the updates. I'm going to have another update coming out this Sunday. I'm pretty sure that given the parts that we have coming in this week, I'll be able to have that on schedule, on time. So make sure you guys look out for that. And it's going to be looking pretty amazing moving forward, guys. So make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is in the description. It's RichBoyJ. Also follow Garrett on Instagram. He made his own, and he posts some pretty awesome pictures there as well. So he's on Instagram at Garrett_Briggs. Also in the description for the link. Make sure you guys find us there. We post a lot of updates on that maybe don't deserve an entire video, but that are cool things nonetheless, as well as some things that aren't necessarily related to Crait. Some other interesting Lego Star Wars things that we're doing. We're always doing Lego Star Wars things. So like I always say, guys, if you like what we do, go ahead, support the video by hitting the like button, and also support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, and we'll be back again very soon. We're playing a live stream this Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time, so make sure you guys tune in for that. And then, of course, the update is going to come out on Sunday. Thank you guys for the continued support of the channel, and I can't wait to get back to you guys with some more content. Have a great day.